So Sega has made some huge changes to Amy and a couple others that about half of all Sonic fans are mad at, and the other half that doesn't understand why the others are mad, which there are good reasons to be that I want to cover. Now by the end of this, I think we'll all be able to come together in agreement that there are some aspects of this that will negatively impact Amy's character. So for context, just like in the build-up of Frontiers, Sega has rolled out a new marketing campaign that's called Fast Friends Forever, seemingly based off the fact Superstars is the first classic, or even any genre of Sonic game, to come with a fully fleshed out co-op multiplayer. Obviously not counting the racing or tennis games, you sick fuck. However, with Frontiers, the descriptions didn't cause much discussion, as it was mostly just people unsure why they officially removed the characters' ages, which turned out to be in Frontiers they made it intentionally not clear how old they are, because every single character is now more grown and comes to their own personal character development arcs in that game, making the removing of ages make perfect sense. So the only drama over that decision was people on the sidelines groaning, while degenerates with art tablets celebrated all over the internet, drawing images that would get you yeeted from this website. But now what's recently stirred a bit of heat in the community is the change of these bios added to this new campaign's website. Now, most of these aren't new or really anything to write home about, but the one causing the most controversy and debate is Amy, which after reading her bio, I can totally understand why. So to give even more context, I'll read the bio itself, then I'll go into the rhetoric evolving around this topic, and hopefully by the end, you can come to your own conclusion, because at the end of the day, I really have no horse in this race. I'm just interested in the rhetoric around this and how it will affect basically all future Sonic games, movies, comics, etc. My main goal here is to show all the different perspectives on this topic. But regardless of that, I'm very aware this is a topic that's going to create a major divide in my audience. Half will come out in their support of pro-Son Amy, and the other half will be the resistance that's anti-Son Amy, whether it's because they imagine Sonic with someone else, or they believe he should be with no one at all. The only agreement those two sides have is the Venn diagram of people in the middle, all being mad at me for not picking a side. So I want to clear it up before going in that I don't have any hard stance or bias when it comes to Son Amy. I'm pretty neutral on this topic, although I do have some thoughts on how they are messing up the evolution of her character, which we'll go into a bit when relevant. So without further ado, let's start with Amy's updated character bio. But quick fast, the length of a vine, drop a like, double check your subbed because I still see comments all the time telling them YouTube auto unsubbed, and set the bell to all notifications so you don't miss banger raccoon Sonic content.
Hey yo, it's the Sonic Show.
So to begin, Amy's bio reads, Amy Rose. Amy is a spirited and athletic adventurer, out to share her boundless love with the world. She wields her signature Pico Pico hammer with incredible strength and grace to defend those in need. Amy first met Sonic by following the guidance of her fortune cards. Unfortunately, the cards didn't tell her about Metal Sonic. Or did they? Ever since, she's pushed herself to grow as an adventurer in order to bring love and peace to the world. She may not be chasing after Sonic anymore, but he's still #1 in her heart, which is where the debate starts. So about half of all people I've seen have stated this was a good decision to have her move on from her infatuation with Sonic, and the biggest reason I'm seeing is in Sonic Frontiers. As Sonic has grown, so has everyone else. Sega feels like it's time to make some more significant changes to the characters, and that the dynamic of Amy being infatuated with Sonic is growing old, which, to be fair, I can understand that criticism, as it's been one of the biggest parts of her character for years now, which is also why the ages don't really make sense. If Amy's 12, then that means theoretically, it actually hasn't been that long that she's been chasing after Sonic, has it? Especially since she was exactly 8 when she first met Sonic on Little Planet and Sonic CD, meaning it's only been 4 years in their time. Well, it's been much more in ours. So this argument that
she totally should have moved on by now
instantly gets squashed when you think about how close all these events are in Sonic's world. Seemingly all the games are very close in proximity, and it's never a boring day there, which does make sense. It's not like Eggman's going to give up and wait on his evil plans, the way Playboy Cardi hasn't released anything since Whole Lotta Red. But as her character currently stands, her obsessiveness over Sonic is a key part of her character, with Tails being the shy and more of a tech support character, and Knuckles being the strong silent type. It's really unclear what Amy's role is in the group now. If her new personality is now not as neurotic and crazy, and she's just a regular level-headed, caring character that's a little snarky and completely over Sonic, in that case, what's the difference between her personality and Sonic's? I've seen many people say that she's the more empathetic and caring side, but she's seemingly just as caring as Sonic, and also has had just as many moments where she's lost her cool and been aggressive in defense of her friends, just like Sonic has. She, similarly to Sonic, also has a snarky attitude and sass whenever it's appropriate. appropriate. They both even have a similar fondness for nature and animals. It's her craziness for Sonic that blinds her and makes her do irrational things for his attention or impressive feats to show off. Here's another excerpt from her bio that adds on to what I'm saying. So it reads, Amy is an inspiration to everyone she meets. She gives her friends the courage to be their best selves, and even her fiercest rivals and enemies can't help but respect her unstoppable will. While Amy doesn't play by anyone's rules, she'll always come to the aid of those in need to ensure they can live as free and happy lives as she does. And that's great and all. But the thing is, that excerpt is literally word for word from Sonic's bio. All I did was swap the name and gender. The only thing that even stands out is the word rivals and enemies, as she isn't seen as much of a fighter as Sonic, but her own official Wikia page says basically the same thing about her fighting enemies too. Amy is losing one of the few distinct personality traits she has, and to try and fill the void, they're looking back to old things like the instruction manuals to reincorporate elements like the tarot cards into her modern personality. The problem is, having tarot cards isn't a personality, and there doesn't really seem to be any unique traits left that she solely possesses. Now, I do think it's totally fine if they want to have her mature and no longer be chasing Sonic, but the key separation is that if you take away one of these few distinct character traits she has, then you have to replace it with something else. Otherwise, she's just a less cool Sonic who they're giving all the cool gear to compensate. If they don't add to her character, it's not character development, but rather a random removal of one of her main traits, which is why I'm a little mixed on this topic. See, I don't mind them evolving Amy and taking away her obsessiveness over Sonic at all, but it really is important that they add something new and way cooler and better. Otherwise, you're quite literally just sucking the life out of her. Amy is basically the de facto relatable character for people with BPD, with her being absolutely boy crazy and neurotic, kinda like how Tails is to us autists. Now, most importantly to the whole discussion, let's talk about going forward. If Sega truly wants to evolve Amy's character, I'm not just going to sit here and complain going,
Well, gee, I sure hope they can pull through this, and I pray that Sonic Team will make good decisions.
but rather I'll give them a little push with a couple ideas to separate her from the team that they obviously don't have to take. But this is just one prominent idea from hundreds they could do. So with the Sonic franchise now embracing Kellen Quinn of Sleeping with Sirens fame, and with previous art of an edgier goth Amy used multiple times in spin-off mobile titles that had super positive reception from fans and tons of fan art, this is a new dynamic that nobody else has on the team, and frankly, I think current Sonic fans deserve their goth girl character that basically all franchises have. Well, some may say Rouge is that. She's more of a regular thief antagonist who just so happened to have a sleigh outfit. She's never been quippy like Amy or used any dark magic like tarot cards. I wouldn't even say her outfit's goth, but more so a ploy to sell Sonic Adventure 2 to hormonal teenagers. Now, Sonic is the empathetic hero, Tails is the shy nerd, Knuckles is the strong silent type, and Shadow is edgy but in the anti-hero sense, meaning this darker goth aesthetic would stand out from everyone else. Not to mention, it would go perfectly along with the tarot cards they've been wanting to make a more prevalent part of her character. Like, do you know any goth girls that aren't into tarot cards? Like, legitimately. She would still be able to keep her happy and positive attitude, but it'd give her room to introduce the new dynamic of her making quote-unquote dark jokes, but like all goth characters in kids shows. It's not really dark since it's a kids franchise, but you know what I mean. And the goth girl character is a beloved trope across basically every kids franchise, whether Total Drama Island, Danny Phantom, hundreds of others. This dynamic in Sonic would definitely bring Amy back in a cool new way, and just like how they changed from the classic to modern Amy, a new change in character design would be important to pull this off. Now, I'm no Yeezy or Tommy Hilfiger, and I'm not going to try to pitch some design. However, one thing I do think would pull this off is, as Amy has changed her hairstyle a couple times now, I'd like to see an evolution of the modern one, but swooped in a way so that she has like emo-ish fringe bangs. I'm not a hairstylist, I don't know the terms, but I do know what looks good. Is man, I was weak as a kid for those goth characters, just absolutely weak. And also, you don't have to do goth. This is just an example. While it's something I think would not only be great to see, but also great for the health of the franchise itself, there's also a billion things they could do with the direction for Amy. The real, like, most important part is that they do something. They have to make some major change to Amy to evolve her character. Otherwise, like I said, they're just sucking the life out of what makes her unique to the squad. This is like when they removed the heels for the green M&M and ended up putting them back because they realized, as dumb as it sounds, because they are a candy, the heels is what makes the green M&M unique from the brown M&M and all the other ones. You need the heels. I'm just kidding. I don't give a fuck about the M&M heels. But I am serious about the point in general, and I want to know,
What do you guys think?
I never comment engagement bait, but I'm literally going to read and respond to comments on this one because I actually think this is a really engaging and interesting topic, and I haven't seen anyone have the take I had. I feel unique in this case. So I want to know what you guys think. Future of Amy and other Sonic characters. That sounded weird. Follow on Twitter. I made a blue sky. Are people going to use that? I mean, I plugged Threads a couple weeks ago. No one even followed, really. But I did get a cool custom domain, sonic.show. That's kind of sick. And that's all. Make sure you liked because it helps the video. Double check your subs. Let's be real. I earned it. You're at the end of the video. I earned it. And bell for all notifications if you don't want to miss another one of these. That's all. Ta-ta. Lots of love and peace. Peace!
Dada doo doo doo, subscribe, bitch.